this morning. It is actually Wednesday the 14th, and I go through vlogging burnout, I think, sometimes when I get like really amped about something and I'm filming so much, and then I just kind of stop filming for a bit. I also think the issue with me filming right now is that I have been kind of doing more thinking than actually writing. And it's not to say that I don't want to write, but I was trying to look at the bigger picture and what I want for my novel and what I need for it and like where I want to go. I could like fly through this, I could easily try to pump it out for the end of August and then start getting feedback for readers in September. However, there are a few things that I was thinking about and how it's impacting my life. The main thing is that over the weekend, I spent my entire weekend outside, and I love being outside. Like, I am an outdoorsy girl, for sure, even though it might not seem like that when I'm always vlogging inside. But I thrive in the outdoors in the summer. It's my favorite thing. Like, I'm just obsessed with it. And Friday night I gamed a little bit, so I wasn't outside, but like it was nice because me and my husband don't game a lot together, and we saw Borderlands on Thursday when it came out, and it was extremely disappointing, and we were like, let's just play Borderlands again. So we started game 1, and we played that on Friday. And then on Saturday, I had an eventful day. We went out on the side-by-side. Went out to dinner with my family, and then it was just a really nice time. And then Sunday, I've been trying to work up how far I can go on my bike. So we did a 12-mile bike ride to the place. We ate lunch, me and my cousin, and then we did our almost 12 miles back. So it was almost 24 miles. I went a little bit extra because I rode my bike to our starting point and back. So it wasn't a full 24 miles, but it was pretty dang close. So it was just wonderful. I'm still a little bit sore after a couple days because that was the most intense bike ride I've had. And I am only on bike ride number 3 of the year, as well as like in general. I have not ridden my bike in like 4 years since then. So I'm moving up quickly, but it's still a lot of effort. And that got me to thinking. I spent like my entire bike ride, like I didn't listen to music, I didn't listen to a book, I like just listened to nature, and that meant I was in my thoughts a lot and I was thinking about things. And because being outdoors is such a like goal of mine and something that really refills my well, it also makes me very mentally happy and sound. I had started my bucket list of the year in order to actually be outside, because the last couple of years, especially with COVID and all the scares we had, it was hard to really enjoy things outside. And then I would get so caught up in writing that I wouldn't go outside. I would be indoors. And then at the end of the summer would come and I'd be like, wow, what did I do? I wrote things all summer, but I didn't accomplish anything else that I love. So while I was biking, I decided that I want to just enjoy the rest of my summer. It's already August, summer will end in September, and I want to make sure that I hit as much as my bucket list possibly can so that I could really just enjoy life and the life that I'm building for myself. Which means my writing has taken a backseat for now. I am not writing. I'm just not prioritizing it as much as I could. And I'm actively choosing that at this point. So the reason I haven't been vlogging is because I have been spending time outside, spending time with my people, because I know that come winter, I hate the cold. I hate being outside. I'm not going to be outside anymore. So why would I waste all my summer being indoors and then being miserable come winter because I didn't spend any time outside when it was nice out? It just didn't really make sense for me as a person. And I was like, okay, yeah, like there's no rush. I am not on an actual deadline, and I want to give myself permission to actually just enjoy the things I want to enjoy, which means writing might be second right now, but it doesn't mean that I'm not going to write. I'm already into I think I'm on chapter 5 of my edits, and it's going well. We're still in the beginning where I don't have to change a lot of things, but I really appreciated the work that I got from other people. So I had my first chapter, like someone had read and given me some feedback while I was writing it during my Readsy course. And I think I mentioned this in a previous vlog. I wish I did that more, but it was very helpful. And there was one comment about like I had like an info dump at the end, which could have been broken up. And I do appreciate that comment because I was able to like put it back and spread it out a little bit throughout the chapter rather than have it all in one area. And that was great. So that helped me a lot. And I still have to get through some of the other stuff in my book. I know I also have a critique that's a little bit later in the middle of the book that I have to get to. But you know, when I'm working on it, it's really nice. So the second reason that I have been kind of like being a little bit slower on things is for the first part, I'm actually gonna go to a mining village now. So this mining village is like a whole thing. It's like a historical mark. There's a museum, there's a tour. It's an hour away from me. And because I am starting to combine, like, this is a fictional story still, so I'm not making the exact, like, it's not a historical fantasy. So I'm just taking inspiration from all of these areas and kind of combining it. And so I'm gonna go to this mining village and get a sense for how that village was and learn some of the history so I can be more accurate when I'm talking about the history, even if I'm gonna combine like this town and this area a little bit more. So that is gonna be the Labor Day weekend, so the 1st of September, I think. So I'm not rushing a ton because by the time I get to that section, if I rush through it, I'm not gonna be in the mining village until probably like after the fact I got through the book. So I slowed down a little bit because I want to actually take the inspiration and apply it to this edit. The second reason that I also decided that I want to just slow down is because I actually forgot I bought a critique, and I believe it's a 10,000 word critique. So I backed a little like project on Kickstarter. It was actually because of Kelly Ty. She got potentially nominated to be included in the Canadians' Best Fiction. And since I'm a sucker and I love people's writing and supporting their writing, I was like, okay, I'm gonna back this. But when I was reading the tier lists, one of the tiers was to get a critique from the editor of the collection, who was also a published author. And I did the highest tier because I was like, one, I'm going to support all these other artists who are getting their work out there, their short fiction, their poetry. But two, it's going to profit me because I'm going to pay this money and get a professional critique done and make sure that my material is going to be great for querying. So if I rush all of this and started to query in October, November, I don't know if I would have had that critique because as of now, things behind the scenes are trying to operate to get the book out. I believe all the critiques and stuff like that are going to be done after the book is released, which there's been some delays, so the book has not been released yet. I don't have it, which means that I also won't have that opportunity. And why would I waste that opportunity? Like that the whole point of me buying it was for Vampire. Like that was my whole mindset. So that slowed me down mostly because I was like, oh, like I really do want to be outdoors. I have some of these in-person research experiences going to be set. I don't know why I would be rushing all of this. So yeah, overall, I just really want to be intentional. Like, I want this to be the book I get a book deal with at this point. And while I have other projects on the back burner, I have projects that need to be edited to be finished, I think this could be a good shot just given what's been published. Now, I do know that trends in publishing change and I understand that. But there has been like a slow increase of vampire novels and ones that actually are very comparable to mine. So I'm feeling good that I can comp something within the last 2 years. I have 2 comps and I do think they're very great comps for the material that I'm writing. But because of that, I don't want this to be just something I rush together to query and then get rejected again. Like I want to get somewhere with my novels. So what I decided to do is wait, and I think it would be in my best interest to probably query next year now. And I mean early next year. Like that'll give me the rest of the year. It's going to give me 5 full months to finish editing my novel, to do all my in-person research, to get that feedback from a professional, as well as get other readers to read it and let me know if things don't flow, if things are a little bit insensitive, if they get confused some places. Like, I'll have all of that done, because then the winter months are gonna come and I'm gonna have lots of time to write. Plus, like, even though I'm probably not doing an official NaNoWriMo this year, I could use that time as an excuse to jump into everybody's streams and everybody's Discord channels and get inspiration, because I really hate being outside when it's very cold outside. So that's not my forte, and I'm gonna spend a lot of time indoors. I also really want to get my query materials like solid, which means I probably want feedback on my query letter. I might want feedback on my synopsis, because I'm still iffy on that. I think I'm getting better at writing it, but I'm still iffy. And I also want to get my query list updated. I made a list a long time ago when I queried my prophecy project, but I was also querying people who were taking manuscripts that could be in either category, young adult or adult. My prophecy project probably should have stayed young adult. I tried to age it up a little bit because I wanted to write more adult stuff after prophecy project, but yeah, it was misguided. It was a learning step for me, and I think that's another reason why it didn't work out with the querying, because I just had not a clear direction on it. This one feels a lot different, and so I want to go through my list and eliminate people who like won't accept an adult novel anymore. I want to find people who would appreciate this novel. There is a lot of triggers in this novel, so I also have to be mindful of who's accepting what. So that means I have to go through and find all new agents to query. And that took me quite a lot of time to begin with. I think I spent like 3 months finding my query list. And while I do try to take screenshots of people who I might see occasionally on Instagram or Twitter or whatever, I don't know if they're still open. I don't know if they're still accepting. So I want to do the 3-tier list again when I query, which means I'm going to find everybody I want to, and I'm going to highlight anyone that I really, really like and maybe feel like we would jive with. Then followed by people who like, maybe I don't have as a strong an inclination, but they might be a good agent. And then my 3rd tier would be people who I think might either really like my material, but I don't know how I'd feel about them as a person and how we would have an agent relationship, or where maybe I feel like we would have a strong agent relationship, but maybe they're not quite into what I'm pitching, but they have enough of a spectrum that I can maybe query them. So my goal would be is to pick so many people from each tier and query in waves. So I'll do my first query with a bunch of people in each tier, and then wait a couple months and then query the other ones. So it's probably still going to be a process for me. And it also is going to depend on who's open when, because as we know, the literary publishing life is not easy right now, and it's been a mess for most people. So I have to take my time on this, and that's just what I feel like in my gut I have to do. So that's my little rambling as far as my morning goes. So I have my makeup done finally, and I am gonna have to dry my hair and get going to work, but I wanted to just pop in and be chatty and intentional with what's happening behind the scenes. And I wanted to talk today after having like 14 days of just, I'm tired and I don't want to do this. But that's where I'm at. So we are still slowly moving, but we are moving. And yeah, I think for me, for my mental health, as well as where I want this novel to be, this is probably the best choice I have. So while I'm not quitting and I'm not delaying it because I don't want to write, in some ways it feels a little bit like I'm gonna push this back farther, but I do genuinely believe that is in my best interest as well as this novel's best interest. So I think instead of recruiting beta readers in August like I intended, I will probably post a video and a form in the middle of September with the goal of having readers start probably the beginning of October. So that way most of the readers can hopefully be done before NaNoWriMo starts. I'm conscientious that most of my beta readers will probably be writers themselves, which means most people are going to be doing NaNoWriMo, and I just don't expect people to be reading my book while they're working on their own. So goal would be October is now readers. We're just a month pushback, really, but it'll give me time to really slow down and build all of my materials and finding agents in the next couple months. So that way, hopefully, I will get my reader feedback by the end of October, maybe by the end of November if some people are slow, and then I can just work on all the other background stuff. So yeah, that's where we're at.
Hello friends, hi. It's a few days later and I'm at work, so obviously outfit change has been done. But I wanted to close out this little portion and just give like a little snippet of an update where pretty much the same thing is still going on. I have been prioritizing doing outside things and doing things that feel good for me. The last week it's been more video games, but I am just enjoying my time. I'm enjoying the opportunities I'm having and just living my life to the fullest of my ability. And I am slowly working through Vampire as I have time, as I see fit, as my mood strikes. So nothing has changed on that front. But I mentioned about starting like the query list again of like who I want to be agented with. And oh my God, is it daunting? I knew it was gonna be maybe like a tall order, but gosh, it's insane how much the landscape has changed in just like 2-ish years. I think it's less than 2 full years, but still. I've already gotten rid of like tons of agents because they're not even in the industry anymore. They just left the industry. Tons of agents have started their own agencies now. Like some agents have like moved up into like higher positions, which like we're grateful that they got that opportunity for them, but also means that a lot of the people I had on my list are only now taking referrals only. So I have to do a ton of work. The other thing that makes me super frustrated, and I will show you guys kind of where my list is real quick. So like I have all these agents here, and with like the colors, like pink is like my like let's go, like I wanted to highlight it, like yeah. The like orange, which I realize are 2 different color oranges, but that's like my middle tier, and my red is like the probably not. And it hurts my heart to be putting these people in the red because so far I've only worked on the top of that list really, and a lot of the people in the red have like polarizing statements that my novel is impacted by. So for instance, I had one person say that they really want like character-driven novels that explore trauma and generational trauma and family dynamics, which my novel is about, but then specifically says they don't want vampires. And I'm like, oh God, that's rough. And then there'll be other things that I've read that like might be completely okay with vampires, but doesn't want any material on drug-related issues, which my character is a drug addict. And that is a big theme of like the whole dynamic of like patterns of abuse and generational trauma and falling into those disruptive coping skills such as drug addiction, and how that is propelling my character when this whole vampire plot takes off to like change and really like try to be a better person for her for once. So yeah, it's super frustrating. Like I'm glad that these agents are putting like their wish list and their anti-wish list, but it's contradicting what my novel actually is. And I also find like I know you can write stories like about generational trauma without addiction, but like I do think especially in Appalachia, oh that was the other one too. They wanted like Appalachian stories, which hello, mine is full blown Appalachian now. But because they don't want some of the other factors like drug addiction or abuse, like I can't win because Appalachia, as we know, and I can like a video about all of like mental health and drug use in Appalachia, but like it's a very like ripe area for that. So it's limiting who I can actually query to, and it's frustrating. I'm sure I will find other agents who will be like a better fit for me, but so far like this is probably gonna take me minimum of a month to actually go through. So I think I am gonna pump the brakes on doing the query list until maybe NaNoWriMo time, when I'm less outside, when I'm focused more on my writing. But yeah, so I just wanted to give that little update. For now, I was right in my predictions about how the agent search would go, and we're gonna leave that for a later date for now. So thank you guys so much for listening to my rambles and my chats about writing and my plans. If you got this far, let me know how your writing is going, and if you're on a self-imposed deadline or a given deadline because you're publishing, let me know where you're at with that deadline. And if you don't have anything writing related to say, then leave me a little sun emoji, because we are enjoying the sunshine for the remainder that we get it. So thank you guys so much, and until next time, I'll see you then. Bye.